Well, hey there, I'm Jay. Welcome to my booth. Today we're listening to one of your samples sent in. Today's sample is from Matt Michaels. Let's just dive right in, shall we? Take it away, Matt.
Match the part with the illustration on the instruction sheet. They are accurately shown by size and shape. Start off with the bottom shelf labeled A. Turn the underside up to reveal 4 mounting points for the vertical wrought iron sides, labeled with the number 1.
So already in that first bit, there's a lot of stuff that I really appreciate, and I think you're doing really, really nicely. Firstly, and most obviously, is just your voice. You have a wonderful voice. It's beautifully resonant, richly textured. I would say it has sort of a typical announcery quality to it, which is a great thing to have in your back pocket. And I think for material like this in particular, where it's just dry, frankly, kind of boring material that's just hyper-instructional, having someone such as yourself narrate it, I think for anybody casting something like this would be a good move. So good job on your end for practicing this type of stuff. Technically speaking, in your performance, there are also a couple of things that I think you're doing really nicely and subtly, and I just want to point them out. The first one is this.
Start off with the bottom shelf labeled A.
Start off with the bottom shelf labeled A. In that little bit there, you're giving us as the listener the time and space to follow you comfortably, to not feel rushed. And you're also letting, at the pace that you go there, you're giving me the time in my mind's eye to sort of map out spatially what I'm looking for, what it might look like, and then landing it with that it's labeled A. So start off with this shelf. Okay, bottom shelf. All right, now I can sort of piece that together. Labeled A. Great. Now I know exactly where I'm going. And so that's really well done. And then in this next bit, I think we can take that just a little bit further.
Turn the underside up to reveal 4 mounting points for the vertical wrought iron sides, labeled with the number 1.
It's really nicely done in general, and I think there are just a couple of things that'll just send it over the top potentially. To my ear, the big thing is this whole section, this last little bit that I just played, is sort of one longer thought that's split up with a few sort of extra qualifiers in the middle there. And you do a great job reading them in each little segment, but at the end of each segment, it's inflected down, which to many listeners implies a period, and it sort of slices the thought in half. So let's give it another quick listen.
Turn the underside up to reveal 4 mounting points for the vertical wrought iron sides, labeled with the number 1.
So it's not a bad thing by any means, but I think in connecting that thought, if we don't inflect down and we say, find this thing with the 4 wrought iron sides, and it has these points here, and it's labeled 1. You can end it with 1, but if you make a period in the middle of the thought, it just subtly sort of interrupts my understanding of things. It was really, really subtle, but it might be something to look into and work on, see how it works for you. Let's listen to your next sample.
A foxylaner is a member of the isoxazoline family, shown to bind at a site to inhibit insect and acarine ligand-gated chloride channels.
You boy, that is some dense material, and it's really, really hyper-technical, hyper-scientific, lots of big words. And for something like this in particular, but as well as that first sample, the main and dare I say only reason the narrator, us, are there is to deliver information as clearly and articulately as possible. And that's it. Everything else is just gravy. And so in that, there are just a couple of things here where I think that in terms of articulation, I think we can improve it and really send it over the top for you here. And what I mean by articulation, in my graduate school study, we had to learn patter songs. You may know the Modern Major General is a very famous one, but patter songs, they move very quickly, they have lots of words, and they were sort of a gimmick where you talk really fast and you tell a story really quickly that winds all over the place in song form. And the one that I had to learn was when you're lying awake with a dismal headache and repose is tabooed by anxiety, and you say you may choose any language you choose to indulge in without impropriety. And the point of that is It forces you to really move your mouth really quickly and really punch all the articulate matter so that it's really legible and you can move quickly, and your mouth and tongue can be really nimble and dance around and make everything legible while still moving quickly. And the reason I bring that up is exercises like that, either working on tongue twisters, things like that. One that worked for me was 1 Piketty, 2 Piketty, 3 Piketty, 4 Piketty, 5. And really sort of taking your mouth to the gym and really stretching everything out to make sure that everything is sharp and clear. With something as highly technical as this, where you have to say things like ligantiated patterns or whatever the heck it was, that'll just help send it over the top. If you warm up with that, if you practice articulation, and just like in this section here.
Insect and acarine ligantiated chloride channels.
Insect and acarine ligantiated chloride channels. Just a little bit sharper articulation will make this perfect, I think, in a lot of ways. Let's listen to the third.
And these are the people we count on to be our best sales personnel, ambassadors for the brand, in effect. As each satisfied buyer receives that extra reward for having made the right choice, the chance of their telling someone else about their experience doubles, triples. Word of mouth, the most powerful advertising medium on earth, goes to work in our behalf.
Yeah, now that section, it's interesting because I was saying the first two being highly technical, being really information driven. The fact that those don't really have any emotional content. You are purely delivering information in the first two sections. This third one is very much not that. This third one rides heavily on the emotional content there. And so with this one, because your voice itself lends to the sort of announcery quality, which is a great thing, as I said, to have in your back pocket, I would encourage you with stuff like this to pull it back from that and make it more of a conversational one-on-one thing instead of a larger announcery thing, because we know you can do that really well. This would be more opening you up to more opportunity and more flexibility in your performance in general. And so what I mean by that, if we play this first section.
And these are the people we count on to be our best sales personnel.
And these are the people that we count on to be our best sales personnel. You've got a great musicality there. Your pitch moves up and down, and it's really engaging. But I would argue for something like this, you can make it much simpler, and it'll have just as much, if not potentially even more, impact on the listener. And something that I say relatively frequently is sort of conversational quality, qualifying that as coffee table talk. If you imagine yourself in a cafe with someone sitting across from you, you're both at a small table in a cafe, sipping a coffee, and you get to tell them about the benefits of word of mouth. And maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a colleague, maybe it's someone that you're hoping to work with, whatever it is, just one person sitting across from you, and you can make it that simple and casual. And so, and these are the people that we hope will be our best salespeople. Even as subtle as that. And then you can go from there, make it more emotionally intense, more invested in it. And these are the people that we really think are going to be our best sales personnel. Wherever you want to go from there. But pulling it back and just delivering it to one person, I think will help to develop your range a little bit more and help this copy in particular connect more with your listeners if you drive it more in that direction. But great work overall, Matt. If you have any questions about this, any of my feedback, anything else, let me know. And for everybody else, if you would like feedback just like this today, there are a couple ways you can do that. There's a description or a form in the description of this video. Fill it out, send me some audio, and we'll put you in a future video just like this one. I've also got coaching on my website. And if you like this stuff and you find it helpful and you think other folks might too, and you wouldn't mind clicking the buttons, helps them find us here and we can help more folks out. Until the next one of these, be well, and I'll see you then. Toodles.